Yato dharm stato jay. Where there is justice, there is victory. This is the ancient Indian philosophy from the times of the Mahabharata. This, ladies and gentlemen, is also the motto of the Honorable Supreme Court of India. Yato dharm stato jay. But in today's India, where you have close to 5 crore cases pending in various courts, 87% in lower courts, some more than half a century old, are we following that principle of Yato dharm stato jay? With me is the Honorable Union Minister for Law and Justice, Kiran Rijiju. He occupies that chair that was once occupied by Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. And I want to begin by asking you, Minister, are we today living by that principle of Yato dharm stato jay with these many pending cases?
Thank you very much. Absolutely, we are following the same path, and that is our ultimate goal also. And there should not be any deviation from the basic objective for which the system has been set up, which is prescribed in the Constitution of India. And as a law minister of this country, I'm absolutely very clear about my duties and obligations, and we are following that dharma.
Sir, when you say we are following that dharma, what we hear is confrontation between the government and the Supreme Court of India on multiple issues. Would you want to tell us more about this confrontation? And it's on multiple issues, sir.
Well, Gaurav, it will not be proper to use this word confrontation. In a democratic setup, there are differences of opinions and positions. Even my position can have a difference of opinion with my other colleague. So, between the different organs like judiciary, executive, and the legislature, there will be issues which will run against each other's ideas. But to say that there is a confrontation, that is not correct. And I can tell you, our government from the day one has been absolutely clear in terms of giving space to judiciary, maintaining the independence of judiciary, as well as strengthening the Indian judiciary, which you talk about the large numbers of pending of cases. It is our endeavor to ensure that courts are well equipped. And in different occasions, I can explain in detail how are we getting the courts of India well equipped with the modern technology, with the support of all the system in place. But there are various issues. But right now, I want to stress that there's no confrontation between the judiciary and executive. If there are any perceptible, it's not because of the government.
Sir, that's a big point. So if there is, you're saying it's not confrontation, there are issues. Let's take this one by one, and let's specifically talk about names that the Supreme Court Collegium may send to you. And they may reiterate a name, and yet it's not accepted. Is that a confrontation? Is that an issue?
First of all, let me clarify. It's very important to make the stand and the position very clear. Appointment of judges is not a judicial work. It is purely administrative in nature. If there are names which are sent by the Supreme Court or the High Court Collegium for the appointment as the judges, it is the bounded duty of the government to carry out due diligence. Otherwise, I will be sitting there as a postmaster. Secondly, if you go back to the Constitution itself, the appointment of the judges is the duty of the government. Means the President of India shall appoint the judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts in consultation with the Chief Justice of India and the Chief Justice of the respective High Courts. There is no role of the judiciary as such to initiate and to give the finalization of the appointment of the judges. It was only later, because of the misadventure of the Congress party, the Supreme Court started acting, which is some people described as judicial overreach. And then the collegium system came into existence. But right now, Our position is very clear. Collegium system is in place. As long as new system is not introduced, we will follow with the collegium system, but the appointment of the judges cannot be done by the judicial order. It is purely administrative.
Let me then come to one more specific. A certain name is recommended by the collegium. It is sent to the government. The government does not approve it. It's reiterated by the collegium. If this is an issue and not a confrontation, as you insist, Minister, what's the way forward? What's the solution?
See, I don't want to talk about the individual names and why the appointments are not taking place in the case of particular names. It will not be wise also. These are very sensitive matter. And the Supreme Court Collegium knows it very well. I have made my position very clear. Government stands are already known to the Collegium members. And we also know why they are insisting on certain names. But let us not bring into the public domain about appointment of the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court, because it will not be appropriate. I could have answered it, but I feel that it will not be appropriate to go to the names.
You could have answered it, but you choose not to put some information out in public domain. However, the Supreme Court did. It put out certain information in public domain, including certain intelligence reports. Is that transparency? Is that transgression? Is that a challenge?
We must understand that Supreme Court or any court has its own limitation. They are there to deliver judgment, to deliver justice. They are not like the government, which has all the resources to get informations and make opinion. If government takes a call, it is on the basis of certain informations and inputs. If tomorrow a particular sensitive inputs of the RNW or IB or any other agency is to be put in the public domain, then what is the sanctity of carrying out such a great effort in great secrecy in the interest of the nation? As a name comes to me for Supreme Court judge or High Court judge, there are numerous complaints invariably comes and attached with that name. Do I make it public? No. Right now I have some names with me, and every name has lots of complaints by the colleague judges, by the public, by the association, by the bars. I don't make it public. If a judge has written an adverse comment against any other judge, I am not supposed to make it public. There has to be some probity in the public life, some discipline, some sensible attitude by the people who sit in the responsible positions. So I'm very, very, mindful of my responsibility. I will never, ever divulge all the informations in the public forum which is not going to help for the purpose for which we are sitting there.
So you're saying you have the last word. The government has the last word on appointment.
I'm not saying it. Constitution says so.
So let's then move to another aspect, which is same-sex marriage. Recently, the Supreme Court referred it to a larger bench, a constitution bench. Is that something that is to be decided by the Supreme Court, or legal sanction or law is to be decided by Parliament?
This is a matter, again, I leave it to the wisdom of the people of the country. Who reflects the thinking of the country? It is the Parliament. Parliament is the reflection of people's idea, people's vision, and people's choice. We have the representative people sitting in the Parliament, which covers all the part of the territory of India. Supreme Court has its own authority. We are not supposed to encroach upon each other's territory. But the matter which you talked about, an institution of marriage, how India should govern in terms of taking care of various aspects of the civil actions, requirements, marriages, this has to be debated in the Parliament. And if any law passed by the parliament is not following the spirit of the constitution, the Supreme Court has the option to alter that thing or pass a adverse judgment or refer it back to the parliament. But that too, if it finds that it is not in tune with the spirit of the Constitution of India. Supreme Court is the final arbiter of anything. And under Article 142, they can refer anything and pass a judgment that is law of the land. But when it comes to policy, we have to understand that India is a democracy. A democratic country has its own setup. So it is not only the Minister of Law and Justice who has to give an opinion on this. It is for all the political parties of the country. More than that, the people of India will decide how our future should be governed.
Are you then, Minister, saying everybody, executive, legislature, even judiciary, everyone has to be accountable and no one should cross the Lakshman Rekha?
Accountability is one issue. The Lakshman Rekha is another issue. Accountability of judges is something which I am getting lots of feedback, suggestions these days, because judges are not accountable, you know it. Many people have suggested also that along with the National Judicial Appointment Commission, it should be National Judicial Commission to regulate the conduct and the process of how courts are maintained, ruled, or how judges are conducted. So there are various suggestions. I am not going to talk about any particular suggestion or any particular thing, but in general, it's coming to me. We all are accountable. Parliament runs under rules. There are rules of business. Assemblies, government functions under rules of business. But in the court, there are no rules. There are practices which are being changed from time to time, and the Chief Justice, as the master of the roster, conducts certain thing. As far as the holidays are concerned, judges are going for holidays and all. So these are not exactly decided on the basis of rules framed by the parliament, but these are on the basis of the convention and the practice adopted by the Supreme Court and different high courts. That is why the holidays of different high courts are different from each other. It's not uniform.
You're seeking uniformity there because there is an issue about the number of holidays that the judiciary takes. Is that also a reason why pendency rises to 5 crore amidst talk that government is the biggest litigant? Government should reduce the number of cases government files.
Look, this is a very sensitive thing. Last time there was a question in the parliament. Question was very pointed that why judges are going on holidays and they keep going for holidays every break. I, as a minister, responded to that. But next day in the newspaper, the report carried that law minister said judges should not go for holidays. And there was a heartburn in the judiciary. They said, why law minister wants to stop the holidays of the judges? I did not say it. What I'm saying is, definitely while the court is on vacation, the cases will come to a halt. It's a fact. It's not I'm stating it. Definitely there can be some regulation, but I am of the opinion that judges require holidays because from the morning to evening, they sit and they deal, 50, 60 cases. And constantly they are dealing every day. And also they are performing certain administrative roles. I will come to that administrative part little later. But due to their constant engagement with the judicial work and administrative works, they have a huge mental pressure. They require to release those pressure by going out with family and all for the vacation. Absolutely okay. Because you have to understand, in United States or any other democratic countries, the judges deal with 4 or 5 cases at the most in a day. Here, average, a judge deals with 50 to 60 cases. In sometimes I have seen some judges deal with more than 100 cases, especially on the miscellaneous days and all. So after dealing with so much of heavy loads, they definitely require holidays.
Okay, fair enough. One such case that they've also dealt with is the issue of appointment of the election commissioner. They say the Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, and the Chief Justice of India. What's your take on this? Is this this is now the law, but is this the Lakshman Rekha being transgressed, or is this something that you will do something about, bring a law on this?
First of all, the appointment of the election commission is well prescribed in the constitution. Parliament has to enact a law. Accordingly, the appointment has to be done. I agree that there is no enactment in the parliament for that. There is a vacuum. But remember, the matter came to the Supreme Court not because of the disputes. Some people filed a petition, PIL, and then Supreme Court took a suo motu cognizance of the matter and the constitution bench was constituted. I'm not telling what will be, the repercussion or what government is going to do. But what I'm saying is, I am not criticizing that judgment of the constitution bench. But what I'm saying is, if the Chief Justice of India or judges of India sit on every important appointments, who will carry forward the judiciary work? There are so many administrative matters in our country. So we have to really see that judges are primarily to deliver judicial works. They are there to deliver judicial order, thereby giving justice to the people. If they get into administrative work, then they will have to face the criticism. Suppose you are the Chief Justice or you are a judge. You are part of an administrative process. That will come into question. The matter comes into your own court. Can you deliver judgment on the matter which you are part of? You cannot. The principle of justice itself will be compromised. That is why Lakshman Rekha, what I talked about, is very clear in the constitution. And I am sure everybody will agree that government, our government, I'm talking about our Modiji's government, we have never taken any action to undermine Indian judiciary, or we have not encroached upon the territory which is under the domain of the Indian judiciary.
Sir, you say the Narendra Modi government has done nothing to undermine the integrity of judiciary. However, it is being said that democracy is under attack, judiciary is under attack, institutions are under attack. Recently at Bhubaneswar, you said that there appears to be a calibrated attack from outside and inside. What do you mean by that, sir?
I think that needs little elaboration because that is very critical. And not only critical, I feel this is the most important topic for me, for the nation. When I was addressing the conference of the lawyers, the Supreme Court judge and High Court judges were also there, I said in a very clear term, anybody, if Rahul Gandhi or anybody says that Indian judiciary has been hijacked or democracy is over in the country, the judiciary is dead, what does it mean? There is a calibrated effort to undermine Indian judiciary. That is why day in, day out, they are saying that government is trying to take over Indian judiciary. What kind of statements and accusations are these? So in a way, it is a very sinister design. Our judges are not weak. Indian judiciary is not weak. But by constantly telling that judiciary is being hijacked by the government, or government is trying to take over Indian judiciary, that itself is a huge blunder for anybody who makes such statement. And I'm telling you, I got some message from United Kingdom. They are saying that it is very sorry state of affairs that the judiciary has been undermined by the government. And the members of parliament are not allowed to speak in India. They don't know India, but it is the fault of those people who are passing on this misinformation campaign. So, Gaurav, you have to understand that the person who speaks the most, he is saying that he is not allowed to speak. This is most unfortunate in India. जो सबसे ज्यादा बोलता है वो बोलता है कि उसको बोलने नहीं दिया जाता है। ये तो हमारे लिए ठीक नहीं है, परिस्थिति ठीक नहीं है।
लेकिन वो बोलते हैं कि जो बोलते हैं वो एक्सपंज हो जाता है, मतलब अगर 40 मिनट या 50 मिनट बोलने भी दिया, एक्सपंज कर दिया।
पार्लियामेंट में तो रूल से बोलेंगे तभी तो आपका रिकॉर्ड में रहेगा। कोई राजा नहीं है जी इस देश में कि पार्लियामेंट में जब चाहे खड़ा करके आप भाषण देगा। सब एमपी 543 एमपीज इन द लोकसभा आर इक्वल, नोबडी इज महाराजा देयर। वो चाहेगा कि मैंने देखा है इन 2004 to 9 he used to walk and the whole gang outside, drama all outside, oh our prince is going to speak, and then all clapping and all special time and special moments were created for one person. Is this a fiefdom of any individuals? The Indian Parliament is a sovereign authority we have. Nobody has extra territory within the Parliament. Every member is equal.
Fair enough. But tell me this, how is this a calibrated attack on India from outside and inside? When the law minister of the country says it's a very serious comment.
It is not only serious, but it is true. Because the anti-India forces in India and outside India, they use same language. Did you ever notice? Same language. Democracy is in danger. Human rights are non-existent in India. In India, we all know very well in today's time, you can't hide anything. These people, whatever they say, these so-called anti-India gangs, same language is used by Rahul Gandhi. You see, you just compare it. I'm not saying it. You go back from this discussion and you see by yourself. Same language.
He's a senior member of parliament. A senior member of parliament, and you're saying that he speaks the same language as anti-India gang?
Not only the same language, whenever he speaks, that is being propagated and it is being publicized with a louder voice by the same ecosystem. The same ecosystem is working inside India and outside India also. Remember, people of India are with Modi ji and with our government. We will not allow this Tukre gang to destroy India's integrity and our sovereignty. Very firm about that.
Sir, as Law Minister of India, you're saying that there is a Tukre gang, and an opposition MP is in sync with this so-called Tukre gang, as you're saying?
Because I am not going to divulge so many other things, how fundings are being done from outside, how they are being organized, who are the people who organize events in London or elsewhere. Recently, there was one seminar. I was not aware of the seminar in Delhi. Some retired Supreme Court judges, some senior lawyers, some people were there. The topic of the seminar was accountability in judges' appointment. But the discussion whole day was how government is taking over the Indian judiciary. Remember, I have excellent relationship with the Chief Justice of India, the present one, the past one, all the Supreme Court judges. I have a fantastic working relationship with all the Chief Justices of the High Courts and other senior judges. There's no problem. It is a few of the retired judges, few, maybe 3 or 4. Few of those activists, part of that anti-India gang. These people are trying to make Indian judiciary play a role of opposition party. Some people even go to the court and say that, please rein in the government. Please change the policy of this government. These people want Indian judiciary to play the roles of opposition party, which cannot happen. Judiciary is neutral. Judges are not part of any group or political affiliations. How can these people openly say that Indian judiciary must take head-on with the government? What kind of propaganda is this?
Sir, if there is a violation of the law, you, the Law Minister of India, Narendra Modi government has been in power for 9 years. What action, if any, is being taken against those you describe as Tukre gang?
Actions will be taken. Actions are being taken as per law. But if I say that I will take action, the agencies will take action as per the provisions of the law. Nobody will escape. Don't worry, nobody will escape. Those who have worked against the country will have to pay a price for that.
But you will engage with the opposition. And while we are on this topic, now 9 years of your government being in power, there were three main issues that the BJP stood for. The Maryada Purushottam Shri Ram Mandir at Ayodhya, Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir, and the Uniform Civil Code. Are you moving forward in that direction with the first two having been completed?
Well, you are aware of our ideology, our manifesto, and what we are doing. About the Uniform Civil Code, 2 of our states have already constituted committee, and it's a work in progress. The parliament session is going on. I'm not going to talk about our position, but you are aware of our objective, our ideology, and our stand. I think that's enough.
लेकिन अगर यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड के ही इसी मुद्दे पर, क्योंकि कुछ राज्यों ने तो ऐसे कर ही दिया है, क्या 2024 के चुनावों से पहले आप इस दिशा में आगे बढ़ेंगे?
वही मैंने कह रहा हूं कि मैं टाइमलाइन अभी बोलेंगे तो सारा जो मैंने अच्छे बातें बताई है वो गायब हो जाएगा. आप इसी को ही डिबेट में लाएगा और सारा देश में ये चर्चा चलेगी. वो मैं नहीं चाहता हूं. जो महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दे जो मैंने बताया है वो मेरे लिए महत्वपूर्ण है. दूसरे बात आप पूछा नहीं, मैं एक नोट लेके आया. मैं सोच रहा था शायद आप पूछेंगे. मेरे लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है इसलिए बताना, क्योंकि आज इंडिया टुडे का कॉन्क्लेव है. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेटफॉर्म है. कुछ चीज़ें होते हैं बाकी चीज़ों से बड़ा होता है. दीज आर वाइटल्स. आई वॉज अमेज्ड एंड मोर देन दैट aghast when a member of parliament stands in the house, inside and outside, and says that every state in India must be free to do whatever they choose to do. India is just a union of states. This kind of remarks is very dangerous for India's unity and sovereignty. That is why I thought I must read out this. This is small, just take 30 seconds. So Article 1, Clause 1 of our Constitution says, India, that is Bharat, shall be union of states. Now, how this gentleman misinterprets this union of states. Now, this Bharat word is used in Mahabharata, Vishnu Puran, and all kind of old texture like Brahma Puran and all. One MP, one member from Tamil Nadu said it, Sri Kullur Subba Rao, during the Constituent Assembly debate. He said, Sir, I heartily support the name Bharat, which is ancient. The name Bharat is in the Rig Veda. It is said there, oh Indira, all this progeny of Bharata. Also in Vayu Purana, the boundaries of Bharata also are given. Secondly, what Ambedkar said, I'm just skipping other long points. Ambedkar, while making the final, presenting the draft resolution in the House, said, but I can tell you why the drafting committee used it, means the Union of States term. The drafting committee wanted to make it clear that though India was to be a federation, the federation was not the result of an agreement by the states to join in a federation. And that the federation not being the result of an agreement, no state has the right to secede from it. The federation is a union because it is indestructible. Though the country and the people may be divided into different states for convenience of administration, the country is one integral whole. Its people, a single people living under a single imperium, derived from a single source. There are many important points I will not add on. So how this gentleman and his same mindset people are saying that India, every state must be allowed to take its own position on important issues. From the ancient time to now, even when the Constitution of India was being framed, it is very clear. The states are divided only for the administrative convenience. And the gentleman and his people are spreading the hatred to divide India from one state to another state. It cannot happen. So when the Britishers left India, they sowed certain seeds, some kind of a division in the society, because they lost India. So here, because somebody has lost the power, does he enjoy right to divide India? This will not happen.
So you are saying that your government will counter all the measures that Rahul Gandhi is saying that democracy is dead or dying here in Parliament and on every platform in the run-up to the next elections? Is that your big platform?
When a person gets into the mode of a frustration, he may utter many things. We are not bothered about what happens to Congress party. If Rahul Gandhi is responsible for the destruction of Congress party, we are not interested in that. But when he makes a statements, when he says something which affects adversely on India's image and prestige, we have to react it. After all, he is a member of parliament and citizen of India. That is why I don't think that we are responding to somebody just like that. We are responding only when it affects our system, our parliament, our constitution, our nation. We are very clear about that. That is why I don't mince the words. We are very simple people and we work for the nation. And finally, I have never stated this thing before. I'm saying today in India, today's conclave for the first time. When I came from Arunachal Pradesh to Delhi, I was excited, but I was sad. Why? Because when we were there in the border, we just knew about Jai Hind, Bharat Mata Ki Jai. India is our nation, our Tiranga, our tricolor. When I came to India, when I encountered some group of people who are saying that freedom of expression, for anything you can even abuse the nation, these people get protection. We never heard of this kind of thing. So that is why India is able to survive, because there are good people who are ready to sacrifice anything for the sake of India's unity, its sovereignty, despite some gang members hell-bent on destroying India. So I am very clear about that. I come from a very sensitive border state. Prime Minister has given me a responsibility of taking care of a very sensitive department. We are serving the nation. We will continue to serve the nation. While serving the nation, if anybody comes on the way to destroy India's image, India's prestige, we will deal with that also.
Minister, very, very strong words, but spoken from your heart, and the 20th India Today Conclave, for joining us here on this platform. Thank you very much and wish you all the best in your endeavor, sir.